It is Supernanny Saturday, and this week the wheel landed on the Silva family, which is apparently one of the most popular Supernanny families of all time. 15 million views. So let's grab our beverages and dive in.
I'm Danielle.
I'm Tom.
Tom and I have 7 kids. When Tom and I got married, Tom brought in 2 children from his previous marriage. Megan, who's 17, Allison, who's 7. I brought in Cheryl, who's 8. Mackenzie is 6. And together we have Riley is 2, Keziah is 1.5, and Caden is 6 months.
Wow, so we are dealing with a large family, which we are not strangers to on Supernanny, but it is a blended family. So I'm curious to see, how does dad discipline? How does mom discipline? How do the kids get along with each other? And I mean, I paused it on this and I didn't even get to hear. So let's see what the issues are.
You shut
Oh my word.
Megan, our oldest child, there is some distance growing between us.
The relationship between my father and I has kind of been indifferent.
Sometimes I just don't feel that Megan and I are even on the same planet.
Go in the other room and play. I yell a lot at the kids. Get your butt back in here. Hang it up where it belongs.
It is a good thing that Joe Frost is on her way, because not only are we dealing with toddlers, young children, but we're also dealing with a teenager. And most caregivers would agree that 2 of the hardest stages of parenting are toddlers and teenagers. But which is the hardest and why? Now, research shows that there's no significant differences in stress levels of parents from toddlers or teenagers, but it's a different kind of stress. Let me explain what the research says. When you have a young child, it is more of a time stress. There's not enough time in the day. They have so many needs coming at you that it feels like if it's not one thing, it's another. A teenager, you may have more time, but the needs of your teenager are highly individualized. Think of a preschool anywhere around the world. Most children's needs are going to be met with a playground, some arts and crafts, some stimulation educationally, some stimulation socially. And if you look around, most of the children, you can meet their needs, if not all of them, very easily. As opposed to teenagers, it's very confusing. And you're like, just tell me what you want already. So this will be interesting. Let's see how observation goes.
Do you want to quickly show me around the house so I can get a rough idea where everyone sleeps? Mum was giving me a tour of the house and all I could see was just clothes everywhere. They were in the cupboards, they were spilling out of the drawers, they were on the beds. There's a great big pile in the hallway. I mean, you just had to kind of shift through the clothes to get from one room to the next.
The first thing that we notice is that this is an extremely unorganized environment. There's stuff everywhere in every room. Now, a ton of grace for mom. She's raising 7 kids pretty much on her own. Dad is serving. Thank you for your service. But this will affect a child's behavior. Think of yourself and you're trying to do dishes and you realize you've run out of soap. You go, oh, okay, let me go get some soap. So you go into your storage area and you go to get soap, and then you realize the entire cabinet is just a mess. There's stuff everywhere. So next thing you know, you're organizing all that. Then you go to throw things out and you're like, oh God, I got to take out the garbage. Then you go to take out the garbage and you think, oh, you know what? I better go ahead and do the cat litter right now because the garbage is going to go out tomorrow. And the next thing you know, the whole day has gone by and you didn't even finish those dishes. It happens. It's very distracting to live in an environment that doesn't have structure.
When we finished the house tour, I wondered where the rest of the girls had gone.
I found it in here. Treasure. You know,
Hi.
Wabby thinks you are. She thinks you're.
She thinks I'm... This was one to add to the list when I had Mackenzie come up to me and say that Riley thought I was...
Oh, language. There's going to be exposure whether we like it or not. In this case, it may be mom and dad. But in other cases, it could be older siblings, it could be neighbors, it could be kids at school, it could even be the things that they watch on TV. And the kind of reaction that they get to the language will tell them to continue to repeat it or to not do it anymore. When children are super young, they start with potty talk. Poop this and fart that and butt this and butt that, like all of the different potty talk stuff they say because they want to be funny. And if we laugh at it, I know that it's very innocent, and I'm guilty of it as well, because you're like, oh gosh, just sometimes you got to let things go. You can't be so strong on everything. But if you don't want them to use that kind of potty talk, you look at them and you go, hey, it looks like you want to be funny. You think farts and poop and all that stuff is funny. Let's find a different way to be funny. Do you want to learn some new jokes? Oh yeah, jokes are funny. Okay, how about this one? How do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie in it, and then, you know, that's a very corny one, but you get what I'm saying. As they get older, especially with language this foul, which is well beyond potty language, you're going to want to start instituting consequences. It is a stop behavior. It isn't something that takes very long. It's under our rules. We do not use these words, and therefore, if you use these words, there's going to be a consequence. That's one. I hear you trying to tell me something about your sister or your brother, but I need you to say it with some different words. And then they say the word again. That's two. I'm not going to listen to those words. If you want me to help you with your sister that you're not getting along with right now, I need you to try different words. And then they continue to blah, blah, blah about their sister. That's three. We're going to take a break from playing with your sister. We're all going to calm down, and then we could revisit this. And then that's where the teaching comes in, where you're teaching them what are some alternative ways where you can communicate to either me, maybe that's the issue, or to your siblings, or just expressing yourself in general that are appropriate in this home.
Danielle was in there mopping the floor, and it looks like it hasn't been cleaned for absolutely months. Whilst Mum was doing her best maid impersonation, I thought somebody better check on the kids.
Oh, the production of this show. The way that Joe says maid impersonation, and then they have the little girl screaming and it's echoing, and then they even go to the scene where the animals are outside. Oh, that's a good one.
Couldn't believe my eyes. Riley, who's 2 years old, was driving around Kasaya, who's a year and a half, in a toy tractor without helmets. Kasaya's stuck. Did you get left here? Mum's definitely got her hands full with 7 kids, but I can tell by the way she's acting, it's really taken a toll on her now.
We have an environment problem here. What I mean by environment is Mom can't look away because the environment is not safe to look away. It is impossible for us to watch our children 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is why they have things like playpens, gates, outlet covers, corners for counters, and, you know, maybe not having access to a tractor where your child can just go out and take their 18-month-old into the tractor. If Mom wants to be able to sit for a few seconds, she needs to take the time to set up the environment. So my first suggestion to Mom would be is that you need to baby-proof your house, or toddler-proof, or young child-proof.
I pulled Danielle aside because I was really curious just to see how she was feeling, knowing that Tom was going off to war.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's a serious situation that's about to happen, and change the dynamic of your family, and change. It's tough for Mum right now. She's a ball of emotions. She's got her partner who's going off to Iraq.
I mean, I told him I got married. I love having a big family. I'm part of a big family. I just didn't think I was going to have to raise them by myself.
I feel for you, Mom. This is way bigger of a load when you are doing it on your own. For the single parents out there who do it on their own and there is no break, it is a lot for somebody who has a partner that's there every day of the week. It is harder for a parent who only have them on the weekends. And now this mom is about to do 18 months without her husband. That is even more of a reason to get organized and get structure. And you can do it. Did you hear it? Spiffy. All right, so this week I brought some treats. So in case he comes by, he'll stay. So you guys can say hi to Spiffy this week. Spiff, you want a treat? He's coming. He's coming. Hello there. Oh, there he is. We got him. We got him. All right, they want to see your face, I'm sure, because last time we only got to hear you. Would you like some treats? For those of you who are new to the channel, this is Spiffy. He is our mommy breakdown mascot at this point. Would you like one of these? Yeah? Like, why are we eating in this position? But I'll take it anyway. Yum, nom, 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 nom. Little snack and a show. Let's get back to it. Bye.
What's that like then, your relationship with Dad?
We don't usually talk, so it's not very understanding. I don't like talking to him because he doesn't grasp what I'm trying to say. He likes twisting it around, which really irritates the crap out of me.
If I could turn around and say to you that I could make a difference in being able to change your relationship with your dad, what would it be?
I don't know if anything could change. He is one of the most stubborn people. We're both stubborn people. That's why we can't get along.
This 17-year-old just exhibited an immense amount of maturity. She calls her dad stubborn, but very quickly says, but I'm stubborn too. It reveals a lot about her own emotional intelligence in such a positive way. Now, why does Jo Frost just do this so well with teenagers? It's because she does something we all need to do more of. Listen. When children are younger, we do a lot of talking to them, teaching them, instilling our values. At this stage of parenting, we need to do more listening and then guiding them towards the goals that they want. When a child comes home when they're in kindergarten and they said, so-and-so is poking me with the pencil, it's okay to kind of go straight to, well, kids poke you with pencils and this is what you could do about it. Did you ask the teacher? Did you tell the child to stop, blah, blah, blah. When a child, I can't with the shirt. It keeps falling off. I'm sorry. When a child becomes a teenager and they say, oh, so-and-so was mean to me, my friend or whatever, the last thing they need you to do in that moment is to tell them what to do. You just go, oh, yeah, it sounds like that really upset you. So what part of it upset you the most? Wow. Yeah, it's hard when that happens. And then after you've listened, you can, just like Jo Frost did, you can end the conversation or start the next conversation with, and if it's something you want me to help you with, I can do that. You let me know. Here's the not so secret. They already know what you're going to say. That's why teenagers roll their eyes, because you've been raising them for 15 years. They already know what you're going to say, Mom. They already know what you're going to say, Dad. So don't say it. It's not new information. That's why they start looking to other people as role models, because you're like a broken record at this point. They know all of your tips and tricks and the things that happened to you in childhood and blah, blah, blah. You're just like you're annoying to them. We're annoying to them. So just listen. Just listen and be there for them, because that will tell them, oh, I can go to Mom. I can go to Dad.
Megan is a lot like me. I see a lot of myself in her, a lot of my virtues and a lot of my faults.
You've got to open up the gates. She wants to be able to receive your love. Everything you're teaching these children when you swear at them is how to communicate with others. That's not right, is it?
No, it's not.
You don't see the potential in any of your children at all. You just see the bad things that they do all the time.
Most people don't go into parenting going, oh, I can't wait to yell at my children and curse at them and forcefully move them around, maybe even in forms of corporal punishment. I hit them. It's that parent gets to a point where they go, Kristen, if I don't yell at them, they don't listen. If I don't push them around or hit them, they don't listen. And they feel like there's just no other way, because perhaps they weren't raised in a way that showed them other examples, or maybe they've read some books or talked to some people, they try it and they go, well, it didn't work. I have to do this. And the truth is that you don't. Will yelling and cursing and hitting your child potentially modify their behavior? Of course. You've seen families out there where the kids are terrified of their parents, so they listen. But that's not the goal. The goal isn't just to get our children to be obedient. It's to teach them the skills that they can use for the rest of their lives. So it's like, okay, you want this. Let me teach you how to achieve this in life. They have to learn how to communicate. They have to learn how to regulate their emotions. They have to learn these skills, and simply having consequences or punishments doesn't teach the skill.
Ready? go. The time is there, so when they clean, it's an incentive to beat their best time the next time. It's important that they get lots of praise from you. Jojo's brought this into this house because there is too much bad words. I'm putting a stop to this immediately with a trash talk technique. And Mum and Dad are going to give you coupons to do very special things as rewards.
Teaching day can be summed up into two categories. We have start behaviors and stop behaviors. We've talked about it before, but here is a quick summary. Stop behaviors can stop instantly. Think cursing, think fighting, and that is why Joe Frost implements the little mouths for cursing, as opposed to a start behavior, which can't happen instantly. The kids cleaning their rooms, you can't just look at your child and go clean your room and then go, well, that's it, you're going to get a consequence for not cleaning your room. It's much more complicated than that, because a child requires much more motivation to do something that takes a long time. That's the harder part of parenting, in my opinion. And that's the part that you have to put more energy into. Make it fun. She has the little timer on. Beat your time to try and clean your room. So if you're implementing a new discipline program in your home, make sure that you cover both categories. You're going to need something for the stop behaviors, and you're going to need different techniques for your start behaviors, and just be careful that you're not confusing the two.
To wean Riley off her binky, I told Mum the story about the binky fairies who need to give the binkies to the babies who need them more.
Can you help Mommy collect all the passies and put them in this bag? Okay, let's go look. And we're going to go tie it in the tree, and the binky fairy's going to come and get it tonight. I really honestly didn't think the one that was in her mouth was going to be given up. But Joe told her to put the last passy in there. Put that binky in there too.
Good girl for cleaning it.
All right. Oh, good job.
I am so happy to see this after last week's event with getting the bottle taken away and how harsh that was. We love the Binky Fairy. The Binky Fairy is great. Look at the excitement on the child's face. It's just a more gentle way of accomplishing the same task. You might say to yourself, well, don't they need to learn how to be uncomfortable and deal with uncomfortable feelings? The child is very young. You are not going to teach all the skills at such a young age. You have plenty of time raising that child for them to learn how to be uncomfortable and give things up in a more harsh way. Some parents are so stuck on, and I think it's maybe because of their own trauma, right? Like, it's such a harsh world. Our children need to learn how to handle the harsh world. The harsh world isn't going to be easy on them. I'm sorry, are you throwing your 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 1-year-old into the harsh world today? I mean, do we really need to just throw on adult harshness onto children so young? Absolutely not. There will be plenty of time during those preteen years and teenage years where they will be learning how to deal with that harsh world, and you will be there to do it slowly with them. We want things to just be gentle. What I mean by gentle, it's such a trigger word with parenting right now. Gentle means that you are doing it at a level that they can handle. It's not too easy. It's not too hard. It's just right. We'll call gentle Goldilocks. Huh? Yeah? That works.
You have to actually pretend you like something about me. Tell me I'm pretty or something nice.
It was awkward. She could have cut the atmosphere with a knife. And I thought, time out. These two need to talk.
Come with me. I mean, and as nice as it would be to go and, talk to you, I can't, because every time I tell you that, oh, I made this choice and it kind of wasn't the best one, it's, oh my God, what a bad kid I am, and that's not fair.
I was wondering when this was going to come up, this whole conversation with Dad and the older teen, and it did. It came up during this time of circle of praise that Joe Frost talked about, where they all sit in a circle and they go around and they say something nice, and then you saw the awkward moment where it was Dad's turn to say something nice about her, and he just dropped the ball. And so Joe takes them over. They have this conversation on the couch where she's able to reveal that such a common sentiment. It's this feeling of disappointing your parents because you're not living up to their expectations. And that's what I mean with raising a teenager. It's no longer about your expectations of them and your values on them. It's now helping them figure out, what are your expectations of yourself? What are your goals, and how do I support you? Because the love needs to be unconditional. And it feels like what's happening, if I'm interpreting this correctly, is that when she goes to her father and she says she missed the mark of where he wanted her to be, he's like, well, I just want what's best for you. And it's like, of course you do, Dad. But in that moment, that's not the time. And you go, okay, I see that, what you did doesn't match with what you've shared with me on what you want to do with your life. Like, think later on when we're talking about drugs and alcohol, or skipping school, or not doing well in school, not taking the time to study. Instead of saying, well, you need to study and you need to do this and you can't have a boyfriend and you can't drink and you can't, oh, okay, of course you're going to have house rules, right? You're not going to just let them do whatever. But the more important conversation is, what does this lead to? What does a life of not doing well in school lead to? What does a life of drugs lead to? And guiding them through that. Does your behavior support your values?
Spike it, go!
I can leave knowing that my children are in good hands. That's really important to me. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for coming, Joe.
Bye!
Thank you, Jojo.
Let's see how the Silvas are doing now. Brianna Silver. Wait, Brianna? We didn't meet Brianna. Tom's daughter has both Down syndrome and autism. She did not appear in this episode because, the ex-wife didn't grant permission to do so. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, both parents need to be on board. Corbin, who's Corbin? Corbin Silva was born after, so they had a son. Oh, and they had another daughter. Woo, my goodness. Even though Dad wasn't home a lot, they found a way. Oh, this is good. Okay, Tom survived his time in Iraq and made it home safely, thankfully. Megan gave birth to daughters. So this is Megan. This is the oldest one. Woo, man. Megan has Lily. I'm not going to say all the names. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's had 5 children, the last one in 2018. So she's following in her mom's footsteps of having many children. And then Cheryl gave birth to her daughter. Wait, who's Cheryl? I'm so confused with all these names. Isn't Cheryl the mom? Hold on a second. Forgive me. Cheryl is the second oldest daughter. Okay, we're going back. We're going back. Back. Okay. She gave birth to a daughter in 2022. Danielle gave birth to 2 more children. We know that part. Okay. It's hard to keep up with all the names. Danielle and Tom divorced, but they're still involved in all of their children and stepchildren's lives. Okay. At least no one's estranged from the family that we know of. Allison was diagnosed. Wait, isn't Allison now the one that's Max? Yes. Max was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and came out as transgender. He's the first child who appeared on Supernanny to come out as transgender. Danielle remarried. And she and her current husband have adopted the child of Megan, the first child. Okay, I'm doing my best. And these are all the ages. We have some trivia, very long. We have a list of all the children and what their special needs are. You can read that on your own. If you ever want to look this up, just Google the name of the family and then Supernanny update. And it's like the first website that comes up, the wiki. There's Megan. Well, let's go to Cheryl's Instagram. And then her kiddo. or kids. I can't even remember who has what kids anymore. And I have to go pick up my son, speaking of kids, so I'm rushing through this. There's Mackenzie. Let's go to Riley's Instagram. And 2 more. Kasaya. Wow, they all have dyed hair. It's a family thing. It's a family thing. She looks like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. And Kaden, which isn't available. That is it for the Silva family. If you have a family that you would like me to watch, drop it in the comments below. I will add it to the wheel. Eventually, we will get to these families. Maybe I'll even put up a poll this week. So keep your eyes out on the community tab for a poll to vote on which family we should watch together. I'll choose 4 of them that are on the wheel, and you get to vote on who you want to watch. And until next time, I'll see you. Have a great week. Bye.